have these artifacts, you know, these little things, you know. It's neat to make stuff like that, and I'm gonna include the DVDs with all this stuff, you know. It's document the party. That's why I made a bet with them. I said, I bet you I could get our money back on this deal, because they threw down like $100. I almost want to say $100. The wings, the beer, they even tipped like $20, which I was amazed that that was pretty nice of them. And they paid for it, so I'm trying to like pay them back some way or another. Pay them back with celebrating that afternoon of just wing beer and gluttony, I guess, just us hogging it all down. Also, it was really good to just hang out with Eric Maximus. You know, I never met Eric Maximus in real life, so I wanted to go there and just check out what he's like. And he's a real nice guy. So, but the big thing is that going there is that he participated in this folk art fair. You know, there's this thing on his channel about he was trying to get into a downtown Bristol music fest, folk venue, or not, like art venue, fine art venue. And, you know, he's a local artist, and he got rejected from the event, you know. And so he couldn't fucking believe this, you know, like, what the... So he did the right thing, actually, and just basically rented a place downtown. He had access to it. And set up his own fucking show and did it. And it's really funny, because he told me that the promoters of the show came by, and they wanted to know who he was. And he said, well, I wanted to be in your event, but I got rejected. And the lady goes, oh, no, you're good enough. Why would we do that? And he goes, well, here's a rejection letter with your signature on it. And he was like mounted on the door or something. And she looked at it. She goes, and you know, that's the thing is you want to have your own fucking show. That's honestly, guy, if it's your own deal, don't even, you know, the hell with those kind of events. So Eric was nice enough to invite me to participate in next year's event. So I'm gonna start gearing up for this dude, and I've already come up with a list of topics of paintings to do. And I got about a year to prepare for this stuff, and the kind of work, I don't know if it'll be this kind of stuff. What happens is I should just stick more primary, you know, this kind of painting. I start sketch painting, what it is. You try to make it look somewhat realistic. You're dealing with trying to, and I should just be more iconic, you know, just be more primitive, because you get them done faster and they actually look better. And you don't I have a tendency to overpaint shit. I'll constantly be overpainting it and touching it up and trying to make it look right and look good at the end, but they're like ball busters, for crying out loud. You know, if you're not in a good mood you're not patient enough to do it, you're gonna fuck it up. You know, like this is that one with that guy said dog was humping him, you know, and he had his teeth up, you know, and he was just sitting there cranking up, and I think that little beagle was right here, like watching it all, like say, hey, I'm the humper here, not you. I mean, it was just a funny story, funny event. And then also meeting Louis was funny too, because you know I kind of saw where he walked around, and I made a big painting of that place. Chatting with Louis, just sat there and stared at me. He was like, he didn't know about me. He didn't know what I was about, but I think he knew I was from I was out of state. So, and Louis has to know. He's on YouTube, and all his videos are out there. So he's probably realizing that, you know, he's special in some regard. And they were telling me they were getting they got a lot of hell about that stuff. You know, people thought they were exploiting Louis, you know. And, you know, I guess it's just a base psychology of, like, guys like Louis, who, you know, you're sitting there listening to him, and he's told us some story about he had to go to court for some PI or something, and the court people are asking him his questions, assuming he's like a normal guy, you know, and they're threatening him with more court, you know, stuff and jail, and he's like, I don't give a fuck, who cares, you know, like, take me to jail, it's cold outside, you know, like, it didn't work. And so, like, you hear this guy's view, instead of, like, appeasing, backing down to the system, he just is like, he don't give a fuck, you know, he's just gonna go from one event to the next, you know. And so there's something kind of admirable about that, you know, like, he's so stubborn, doing what he wants to do. The guy's only, you know, if you look at him, he told me his age. He said he's 45 years old. He's 1 year older than me. That's what hardcore drinking and drugs will do to you, I guess, you know. And living on the street too, actually, will rough you up. But one thing I do like about West Texas, and this kind of relates to that, is that out in West Texas, you don't have a bunch of busybodies out there trying to clean up the community, you know. And if you're out there and you're drunk or you're insane, that's what I liked about Redford. No one cared. You know, in Mexican culture, they don't really get into that shit. If someone's crazy or did glue all their whole life and hanged out in on the side of the road, they don't really care, you know. And that's what those people. That's what your choice in life is. You want to do that? Oh well, you know. And if a bunch of yahoos want to go party with someone like that and carry on with them and stuff, it's educational if anything. But there's always some busybody out there that just sees the tragedy element to this whole thing and wants to go in there and shame and make a big deal. And you know, they may bring this person food, help, blankets, everything, and they're like, fuck off, I don't want you, you know, quit trying to control me. It's like his mom or something. Quit trying to control me, you know, I don't want this shit. Just leave me alone, you know. So, I don't know, it's just sort of the dichotomy of, I remember I got in this insane argument about someone like that, on Facebook about homeless people, you know, and it was this, I guess they were liberal homeless advocates. And I just said, you know, some of the people in San Marcos that are homeless, we used to always, they were like these characters, they're like celebrities, you know. They'd walk around downtown. We had this guy called Junebug. He dressed nothing but green vinyl all the time. His bicycle was like that, and he even had a cat or something on his shoulder, you know. Bald head, he looked like some total freak, you know. But he was like legendary, you know. Everyone knew about him, you know, and no one really tried to help him or anything. But you know, those guys do. You know, as a guy, you know, you get that far off in your life, you really just don't care, you know. And to them, you know, what's that word? They're suffering. You know, it's purely taken from a suburban mindset to think that they're really out there, you know, in tragedy. You know, people do it. A lot of guys go schizophrenic. When we go that way, you know, it's like, you know, Crazy Matt, one of my old friends who went that way. He lived homeless for 4 or 5 years in San Marcos. And I tell you one thing, he had more discipline as a schizophrenic. He's more concerned with UFOs and brain waves than he was about his own comfort, you know. And of course, he was mentally ill, you know. But he didn't complain. I never heard him once complain about the way his life was. You know, his complaints are so crazy that you didn't know what the hell. You know, you feel like he was in a movie or something like that. But, you know, he did get some help and eventually clean up. Eventually you can't live on the streets forever. Eventually something happens to you. And, but, I don't know. So, you know, Louis, I don't know, he was an interesting character. So I got a painting of him I got to work on. I actually made several Louis paintings. And then there was Guy, I liked the guy. He was on my old time. I like that guy's voice, man. He has got one. Man, that dude, if he was a singer in some punk band, imagine, or some hard rock band, what that guy would sound like. Or a rapper or something like that. Oh my God. He's incredible, you know. So, I'm going to do a painting of him. He's on here. I don't want to fuck it up. So I started overpainting all this shit. And it was looking good at one time, and then it's just being here in this shed, and I'm getting restless, you know. So then, you know, dealing with Eric. Well, Eric, we have this. So we're gonna do this show. It's gonna be somewhere, I think, in September in Bristol, and so I'm gonna promote the shit out of it. This is the anti-folk show, and it's just gonna be the kind of art, I guess, that me and him like. You know, the kind of stuff that I like to do. And I know I'm gonna do some shit on Jessica, you know, and Eric's got a whole thing about Jessica going on. And man, I swear, if I do anything to see if I can lure that guy out to the show and meet him, I'm gonna make some paintings based on it. I have a whole list of topics of what I want to do, and I'm probably gonna do them shrink wrapped. You know, I don't know. You know, it's gonna be good, and there's gonna be I'm gonna come up with a really good, insane food sculptural thing. You know, just for the show, like the beginning, the inaugural thing, kind of like that with a nacho cheese, you know, operation table, but bigger, you know, something weirder and more stupid, something so genuinely stupid you would compel you to make it. That's been usually my life. Where's that at? Oh, fuck. Here's something I'll start on. You get that guy done. And there's a shed painting, so if you can, really just about getting there. Okay. Rode hard and put it wet. You start detailing it, you know, and there's that one. And I think I'm going to do where'd that other one go? Like I said, it's hard working here. These fumes, man, after a while, there's one or two of them, man. You don't want to be around them for very much. You start getting spacey. The beer buzz basically masks all the brain damage. You know, here's a Louis one. Louis He looked like some kind of monk or something. You know, he was real quiet. I've been making these fancy DVDs. So this something, Eric, you guys should like get into is like, fuck, you sell a piece, include all the. I'm gonna glue these in there. There's 2 little sets. Document it. Made a little cardboard cover with it. We'll just add that with the work. You know, you document it. Hell, that thing will float around for years with that work. Here's Eric's piece. That's not gonna work on it. Fucking, it's just hanging out with my folks. You want to know what your life's really about? Just go hang out with your mother and dad for a while. You know, you start realizing who you were back when you were in high school versus now. Sometimes it's frightening. Closer and closer to this deal. I'm gonna fucking shut the door. Like a late night recap. So late night recap. You can see this is the outhouse. These are these guys now. I've had enough of this stuff here. I guarantee it'll take about a day or 2 or 3 days for stuff to dry. And fuck it, I'm just gonna leave it here. Well, here's the little frames. We'll put them up there. Let them store. So I'm just getting sick, man. I'm getting ill of this stuff. I only got a couple more projects left, and this is gonna be one of those deals where I just chunk everything in a briefcase and nuke it and call it home. You know, nuke and colors on drinking night. Lone Star in the green Hunter can, some kind of weird can that they came out with. Lone Star. So here's Eric Maximus thing. It's based on this photo here. I think, you know, it's going to be a good painting, but it'll probably be complete down the line if I break it out and use it. I'm just losing my momentum. You know, it's funny. He did this sketch here. Let me show you something. He did this over here. Look at that. That's real nice. That was me at the little fire pit. Looks pretty good. So that's what those Eric Maximus did that. I wish I could sketch as easy as I could come up with these pictures. There's that. Let me think. What other shenanigans? I was gonna try to complete the book of sluts, but I don't know, man. I'm losing that. I think I'm losing my energy. But yeah, this is it. What is it? It's Christmas Day. Seems like everything's going pretty good. Still got some more projects left. I'm gonna be out of here. Man, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. So, Merry Christmas.